Hi everyone and welcome to this development update call where we will discuss the latest progress here at Mintlayer. My name is Michael Bille. I work on the business development front at Mintlayer, and as always I'm here with our CTO Ben Marsh to take you through the latest development. Hi Ben, glad you can join us for the first call of this year.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Awesome. I hope you and the development team took a well-deserved time off during the holidays after a hectic 2022. But I guess you're pretty much all back on deck again, or what's the situation with the team, Ben?
Yeah, so everyone is back now. So I think everyone, or at least the majority of people, but I think every single person had some time off over, we'll say winter. I mean, it depends where you are, whether it was winter or not. It's the middle of summer for some people. But over the Christmas period, most people had some time off. But yeah, everyone is back now, and we're back to working hard. So yeah, looking forward to see what this year brings.
Yeah, it's gonna be a super interesting year for sure. And yeah, we already had, like, you guys made the announcement this week regarding to the web browser extension of Mojito Wallet. This is a good start of the year, and again also just like the first step of like a tons of milestones to reach for the next quarters and this year. So yeah, it's super exciting. I'm totally fired up. So what about you? What is yours? What are you feeling at the moment?
Oh yeah, I'm excited as well. So finally getting the browser extension out was a nice feeling. So we'll go into it in a little bit more detail in a bit, but yeah, it was nice to finally get it out. We have a few interesting things going on in the background at the moment, and of course we're still working heavily on the core node, and hopefully we'll have some perhaps more exciting updates to people in the near future when we head towards the testnet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Again, great stuff. Great stuff that waits us very soon. But yeah, now let's just go into the agenda for today. The development update will go as follows. First, we will talk about the web browser extension, and then we will go to the mobile wallet, and then of course to the very important core of the Mintlayer protocol. So yeah, Ben, why don't you start sharing some details regarding the web browser extension? That would be great to share
So,
some insights.
so yeah, we have finally launched the browser extension now. So it is being launched on Chrome and the Chromium derived browsers like Edge and Brave with a Firefox version. It's currently under review. So some versions are now live, some versions currently just under review from their respective browser extension stores. But yeah, it's a work in progress. I mean, it's the first version. It has the sort of basic features that you expect from a Bitcoin wallet. And we're starting to work on the next features that are going to be coming up. I will say, for example, if you're a Firefox user, while it's not possible to get it from the store at the moment, you can get it directly from our GitHub. So if you go to the browser extension repo, we have actually put builds up there so that people can just go and install it directly from there. Or, of course, you can build the code and do it the old school way if you're so inclined. But yeah, essentially, it's out there now, and we are working on a few different things. So the idea is we will bring it up to sort of parity with the mobile wallet. So the idea is in the near future, we'll be in a position where both have exactly the same features. So that should give you a rough idea of what's going to be coming up with the web wallet in the near future. There's one other thing which I've mentioned before, but is now in a slightly more advanced stage, which is we've been looking at the entropy generation stuff. I've maybe not mentioned this in the context of the browser extension before, but I definitely have in the mobile wallet context. But yeah, so this is something that's still moving on. So we have a library that we have written, which will handle all of the sort of back end stuff. That is ultimately just waiting for me to finish my review of essentially the cryptographic soundness of that library. And the mobile and web chaps are sat building the user interfaces for that at the moment. So this is something that should be integrated into both projects in the very near future. And then, yeah, there are a few other little bits going on. We will also be paying attention to what the public says now that the browser extension is live. So we had some feedback before, we did some alpha testing, but now it's live, we'll probably get some more people using it, and people's opinions change as well. And also bearing in mind it's different to that alpha version because we took into account other people's feedback in the first place. So yeah, we'll be sat listening, see what people think we can do to improve, as well as what we've done right, hopefully. And also, if people find bugs, things like this, then we will be adding those to the backlog and getting those fixed as well. So the browser extension is I mean, I would like to say it almost feels like it's sort of just started, really, because we're sort of just over the first hurdle, really, getting the first version out. But it feels like a fairly big milestone for us to have finally released it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and then you in the future will add more features and make it more smooth and running and all that.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
there are lots of things we plan to do with it. So we intend to add Lightning support to it. We intend to add the intergeneration stuff. We intend to add multi-sig support and hardware wallet support. And perhaps most notably of all, we intend to add Mintlayer support. So we're getting to the point where we will be starting to do this internally soon. So yeah, in the relatively near future, for some definition of relatively, we will be supporting Mintlayer in both the mobile and web wallets, and you'll be able to send and receive NRT and tokens on Mintlayer and all these sorts of things.
interesting. But it sounds really good, Ben. Absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to. I haven't even played around with the web browser extension myself yet, but I'll definitely do it. Yeah, today or tonight later on, because it's always good to have a feeling on how things work and play around with it. And then of course I'll give you my feedback as well. But yeah, of course, like the mobile wallet is absolutely smooth with the Bitcoin wallet and also the Lightning network, where I actually been doing some payment on that one from the Mojito wallet. So it's absolutely working smooth. So it's super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go ahead and yeah, take the next topics if you're
So,
ready.
I mean, whilst we're talking about web, I guess there's one thing that we haven't really spoken about a lot recently, but people would have seen, given recent announcements, that there has been some things going on there, which is the launch site. So this is something that's been worked on in the background a fair amount over the last few months. And yeah, so there's lots of things going on the launch site, but I won't say what we're doing at the moment, but will become slightly clearer as we head towards the TG. So yeah, but I think that rounds up the things that are going on with regards to the web stuff, though. So let's move on to the mobile stuff. So a lot of what I said about the web also applies here. So there's been lots of work on the intergeneration stuff. And as I said, realistically, this is kind of waiting on me now for me to prove it out and prove that it's entirely correct. And yeah, so we've done a bit more testing work for the mobile app. So it's something that's been going on for a long time now. So we built a fairly robust test framework for it now. And during the process of building that, we have found a few small things that needed fixing. So we've been fixing a few small bugs here and there. And we have been planning where we're going to go from here. So we have been looking at the roadmap and looking at what's in our backlog and trying to work out what we should work on next in the mobile app. So there should be a release of a few small things coming out relatively soon, and then a slightly bigger release in a couple of months or so, where we start to look at things like the multi-sig support.
Yeah, it's really an important thing. The multi-sig, it's a good security for all users to have. And what about the hardware integration? What do you have like a timeline for that one, or any idea?
We have an internal roadmap for this now. So we have done the work and worked out, I suppose is the best way to phrase it, what we need to do, and it's just a case of getting to it now. So with regards to the time frame, it will come after the multi-sig stuff, but I couldn't give you a much more precise time frame than that at the moment.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, let's go to the important core development of Mintlayer. If you can share some details.
So as per usual, there's been lots going on here. And I mean, more than on the other things, which considering it's a larger team makes sense, I guess. So we are still working hard to get the testnet out as soon as possible. And essentially, as soon as it's ready, we will release it. So we've had lots of work on the consensus stuff again. So on our proof of stake implementation. So mainly focusing on the accounting stuff again. So we have a sort of mathematical framework where we have defined how this should work so it can be provably correct. So this is important because the accounting system, in this context at least, is essentially how staking will work. So if you are staking, it will go into the accounting system, and your staking rewards are paid into the accounting system. So this is something that people are going to care about being provably correct, because it's going to be very easy for someone to lose something if this isn't correct. So we have built a mathematical model to essentially verify this is correct, and yeah, we are currently in the process of implementing that. So that's been going on for a while now, but it is heading towards the point where it's finished, and then we'll be moving on to some more parts of the proof of stake system. So there's been lots of what I'll call generically rusty bits going on. And by rusty, I mean things that are Rust language related. So of course our code base is written in Rust. Like I say that. So if you look at our repo, it technically says it's about 90% Rust or so. So the bit that's not Rust is a test framework written in Python. But the actual core code base is 100% Rust. And we have been doing some work on the mempool, which has meant we bumped into a few things that could be fixed elsewhere. So mainly looking at lifetimes in Rust. So there have been a few changes here in the way we've been handling things in the past and sort of improving it as we go. So there's been lots of these sort of little rusty bits we've been fixing. So the mempool, I mean, as per usual, I think it's been in just about every one of these updates we've done.
Yeah, you're right.
The mempool is still an ongoing thing, so it's heading towards a mature state at this point. We're heading towards stability. So we had a mempool which sort of worked in isolation before, but it's now it interacts with the majority of the rest of the code base now. And we're essentially just working on getting it to work nicely with the rest of the code base. So that is heading towards maturity. So hopefully, it will definitely be in the next update, because, I mean, even if we finish it, that's going to be in the next update. But hopefully it won't be in too many more updates from here. But yeah, we'll see. It will take as long as it needs to be done correctly, is the way I look at it anyway.
Yeah, of course, I agree on that one. Security is number one priority, and then we have to wait before the yeah, all the good work has been done before that. So yeah, of course, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a question of, is it worth rushing something or just doing it properly? And we have very much taken the philosophy of doing it correctly as the only way to do it. So perhaps things are taking slightly longer than we might hope, but it means that we're confident that what is going to be produced at the end is going to work, and is going to work correctly, and is going to, yeah, it's going to be safe, it's going to be secure, it's going to be usable, it's going to be all of the things that we want it to be. So yeah, so mempool, yeah, still going on. So P2P is also something that's been in a lot of updates. And I've been moaning about libp2p, an external library we were using quite a lot. So I won't be moaning about libp2p anymore because it's no longer part of our code base. So there's still a little bit of work to be done before we can say that we sort of finished that work. But the main features that we were using from libp2p have been implemented now. There are still a few small bits left that we need to fix and add, but the sort of core functionality is there already. I won't say that we won't continue to work on this in the future, though. So this is something I think there's going to be improvements on over time. So although we will probably be done with it in the interim, at least, relatively soon, I think this is something we're going to keep revisiting over the next couple of years and just slowly improving it. Because this is something that is relatively easy for us to get improvements into the code base and how it interacts with other nodes, things like this. So
Okay.
yeah, I think this is going to be a relatively living part of the code base. But yeah, so we've got rid of this library which was causing us trouble. So it had lots of code that we didn't care about, which it's never really great. It didn't really do, it did what we wanted it to do, but not necessarily exactly how we would have designed it. So the core functionality was there, but the way it went about it wasn't necessarily, it didn't necessarily fit in with exactly what we wanted, which is always the case realistically when you're going to be taking a library and using someone else's code. This is just the way things work. And we ran into issues with the way they were handling their own dependencies, and also we started to run into issues with the way they had implemented things. So we decided to move on, and yeah, that work is moving along quite nicely. So yeah, as I said, it's now left our code base and we are doing it all ourselves now. I will also say I quite like the fact that we're not relying on other people for the code. The more code we have ownership over, the more secure it is in the long run. And by secure, I don't necessarily mean purely security here, but also we don't have the risk of the library no longer being developed and supported, and us having to suddenly work out how it works to fix bugs when they come up and things like this. If it's all our own ownership, so to speak, then it kind of means in the long run, in the short term, maybe it's a little bit more costly, but in the long run, life becomes easier. Yeah. So that brings us to another point, which is there's been a lot of further work on the LMDB library crate. So this is how we interface with LMDB, which is the sort of database for storing the core node bits, so the blocks and things like this. So there's been lots of small fixes here, lots and lots of work in testing it, and lots of small fixes, mainly looking at concurrency issues. So we've been studying how other people get around these issues, and we've realized a lot of these issues are kind of ignored out there, but we have been attempting to fix them. And yeah, that's been an ongoing thing. So again, this is something else that we have ownership over now. We forked this crate in the past, and we have, yeah, in my opinion, at least made it better. We fixed quite a few issues in it now, looking at both soundness and just generic coding style things. We're getting to a more sort of warm and fuzzy place with that crate, so to speak. So it's working now. And I mean, it's been working for a while, but it's working even better now. And yeah, we're moving on with that. But hopefully, I mean, there's an open pull request for that now, which fixes another concurrency issue. But yeah, we're heading towards a very nice place there. I'm happy with how that's going. Other than that, the other big thing that's been going on is the command line wallet. So again, I've been saying this for a while now. So there's been a few small crypto changes to cryptography subsystem, and then work on the command line wallet. So this is how a user will, for example, stake MLT. So this is a wallet that you'll be able to run on a node and do all of those nodey related things from. So yeah, we're heading towards having something pretty quickly here. At this point, things are moving a lot more rapidly now than they were in the past. And yeah, we've got over most of the hurdles we had doing this, and things are looking rosy. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds so cool with the core node updates you just given us, especially like with the ownership of the code. I think that's an amazing approach to take it, because then we like have the control of it, and as you said, like all bugs and everything is just like we can handle ourselves. Right?
So there's kind of two sides to this coin. So there's so many instances where we rely on someone else's code, but taking ownership of it all would be unmanageable without having hundreds and hundreds of people to help you. Because you have to understand how it all works, so that when something goes wrong, you at least have an idea of where to start looking and how to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are key subsystems where we want ownership of it, so that, and particularly if we're running into issues with a library anyway. I mean, there's a reason we went with a library in the first place. It's quicker, it's simpler. If someone else understands the code and it works correctly, then your life is going to be easier. Other people are going to have the issues as well. So if a bug pops up, someone else is probably going to fix it before you even have a chance to look at it. There are benefits to doing this. However, when you're running into issues anyway, it kind of becomes sensible to just take on this burden, if you like, yourself. And then there are benefits to doing so. In an ideal world, you would understand how everything works, which realistically means that you have written everything. Because there's just too much to understand of other people's code otherwise. However, it's not really realistic, and it's not really the way software development works either. So you kind of have to find this sort of line down the middle where things that we're happy to take the risk on and use other people's code, we do. Things where it makes more sense for us to bring in-house, we do. So yeah, we're sort of trying to find a nice happy medium between the two.
Yeah, sounds like you guys are doing it very well with the balance of risk and safe harbor for the development. But yeah, thank you so much for the update of the development. What can we expect like for the next month of exciting thing? What are you focusing on here?
Yeah, so I mean, if we go back to the two wallets briefly, because they're going to have probably some slightly more visible things in the near future. So I think we can expect some updates, so some new releases and new codes and updates to those code bases and to the apps in the near future. Both, I mean, there are some almost ready to go on the mobile. There are some things very close to being ready to go on the browser extension as well. So yeah, I think we'll see at least one release there, probably more if we're going to be honest. With the core node, we will just keep powering on, and yeah, we will have something when we have something essentially. It's very difficult to give a true time frame because we're aiming to do this correctly rather than rush it out. So we will take as long as it takes to do it properly.
Yeah, it sounds good. I'll look forward to hearing more about the updates on the Mojito the next month. Absolutely. I just have like a question. I know we see again and again on Telegram. Maybe you can answer it, maybe not. But the question is: testnet before or after the GTE? What do you think?
I Honestly, I don't know. So if everything is ready and we are comfortable that everything is safe and secure, it will be before. If it takes longer, then it will be after. Um, so yeah, honestly, I wouldn't like to hazard a guess. Um, my answer will be it comes when it comes because we want to do things properly.
That's a really honest answer, Ben. Appreciate that. So it'll be launched when it's ready, and that's it. So it's a good answer. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to this call, Ben. Anything you'd like to add before closing down for today?
I don't think so. I think I covered everything from my side anyway.
Yeah, appreciate your time as always, Ben.
Yep, it was nice to speak to you.
Well, that's all we got for you guys today. To all of you who joined us, thank you very much for your support. And please remember to join our official Telegram channel. And also, please remember we are looking for new team members to join us. So please check our website for the open position at the Mintlayer. And lastly, remember we have our TGE on the 21st of March in less than 2 months. So we're almost there, guys. I am Michael Bille. Thank you for joining Ben and me on this development update call, and I will see you next time. Ciao, guys.
Cheerio.